I'm Spencer Shunk.
And I'm Brad Fraser. Thanks for tuning into Old Movies for Young People. Today, Dueling Messiahs. Two of the greatest rock operas of the 1970s, and we're going to be fighting about which one is better. They are
Tommy from 1975.
and Jesus Christ Superstar from 1973.
Tommy, directed and written by Ken Russell from the rock opera by Pete Townsend, and of course The Who are doing all the music. We're starring Roger Daltrey, lead singer of The Who, as Tommy Walker himself. His parents are played by Anne Margaret and Oliver Reed. We've got a star-studded cast. Most of them get a whole musical number. We've got Elton John, we've got Eric Clapton, we've got Tina Turner as the Acid Queen. Jack Nicholson makes an appearance. We've got various members of The Who. And basically the story is Tommy is the son of a pilot who died in World War II. He's being raised by his mother, Anne Margaret, who ends up marrying this really sleazy camp counselor played by Oliver Reed. He witnesses this horrible, traumatic event. Basically, his father comes back and is murdered in front of him by Oliver Reed. He goes blind, deaf, and dumb, and he becomes the pinball wizard, the famous Who song, and later becomes a messiah and leads young people all over the world to some sort of salvation.
Enlightenment.
Yes.
Welcome to the camp. I guess you all know why we're here. My name is Tommy, and I became aware this year. If you want to follow me, you've got to play pinball.
Jesus Christ Superstar, directed by Norman Jewison, starring a whole raft of mostly Broadway singers who were brought in to do the show, filmed on location in the Middle East, done in a very minimal fashion, and is actually does a very good job of bringing the Andrew Lloyd Webber, Tim Rice music and lyrics to life. It is the story we all know. He is Jesus. We come in late, just when Judas is about to betray him. We don't get any walking on water. We don't get any feeding the multitudes or any of that kind of thing. It's a very intimate musical between Jesus, his disciples, and the one woman in Jerusalem who's interested in them, apparently. Mary Magdalene.
Right, yes, everything's all right, yes.
Sleep and I shall soothe you, calm you, and anoint you for your hot forehead. Then you'll feel everything's all right, yes, everything's fine. And it's cool and the ointment sweet.
We know this story. He's betrayed by his best friend who thinks he's lost his way. He's tried by the Pharisees and various other evil people and whipped and paraded through the streets, and we nail him to a cross, and he may be resurrected? I'm never sure with this movie.
Jesus Christ, superstar, do you think you're what they say you are?
Tell me what you think about your friends at the top. Now who'd you think besides yourself was a pick of the crop?
Which one is better?
Well, it's a really hard question because, first of all, musically, these are two brilliantly written rock operas. They really do channel the sound and the feeling and the fury of the 70s, and they have a kind of theatricality that makes both of them very watchable. But I have to say, for my money, it's Tommy, without a doubt. First of all, the story is a little fresher than the Jesus story because, we all know what happens in that one, so the ending is going to be no surprise to anybody. There is an energy to Tommy. Ken Russell's kind of a crazy director. I mean, he does all kinds of insane shit, and he was one of my favorite directors in the 70s. Tommy is rock and roll anarchy, and it's also about abuse. It's about a lot of abuse. Oh my God, there is so much child abuse in this movie, which thankfully only happens when he's a teenager, not to young child Tommy. We wait until the abuse should be happening, but actually it's not until he grows up and becomes Roger Daltrey that he's taken by his stepfather to see the Acid Queen to see if she can help him.
If your child ain't all he should be now, this girl will put him right. I'll show him what he could be now. Just give me one more night.
Then he's left with cousin Kevin, who's the weird cousin who abuses him physically horribly.
How would you feel if I turned on the bath, dumped your head under and started to laugh?
And then he's left with Uncle Ernie, played by the always entertaining and psychotic Keith Moon, the drummer who died so early from The Who. And he sexually molests Tommy before Tommy discovers the pinball arcade, well, the junk pinball arcade, and somehow, and when we're talking about messiahs, we don't have to explain shit because they can walk on water, he learns how to play pinball.
Do you hear a mirror? Do I smash the mirror? Do you hear a mirror? Do I smash the mirror?
Finally, his mother breaks through to him and pushes him through the mirror he's fascinated with, and his ability to see, speak, and hear comes back miraculously. And now he is hang gliding messiah, flying over the nation, bringing bikers and other people together to do the time warp happily.
Your wings are broken, time to mend and learn to fly.
And it's God and Margaret. Now, Pete Townsend didn't want Anne Margaret to play the part of the mother. He felt she wasn't rock and roll enough. And yet, when you finally see the movie, she carries the movie. She was nominated for an Oscar for Best Actress and lost to Louise Fletcher for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which I love that film, but Louise Fletcher has about 8 minutes of screen time in the entire fucking movie. Anne Margaret, she literally carries this movie on her back while wearing some of the best costumes ever seen on the screen. And for me, there is nothing in Jesus Christ Superstar that matches Anne Margaret's performance.
Nothing against Anne Margaret, but where that movie, Tommy, loses me is the hang gliding messiah part, and pretty much everything from there is sort of a downhill tumble into
I will agree that
awesome
when Roger
logic.
Daltrey comes on, the movie takes a bit
When
of a
he
nosedive that
starts
it
singing.
never quite...
His singing is good.
It's not
But
a
when
singing,
he
it's his
loses the
acting.
deaf, dumb, and blindness, that's actually when the movie should be kicking off. I'm Free is the song, and it's a great song. That's where it should be really launching off, but it kind of sputters out after that point.
Okay,
And
but
I won't
we-
attack Anne
but
Margaret because she's
before we get
fucking
to
great.
that, tell me why you like Jesus Christ Superstar, and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
I think as much as I love The Who, the music in Jesus Christ Superstar, the way it comes together with the singing, the orchestration, it's a true fucking rock opera, and it rocks hard all the way through. Carl Anderson bringing us in with Heaven on Their Minds. That dude is amazing. That dude's vocal chops, for me, like, I can put him up against Anne Margaret.
And all the good you've done will soon get swept away. You've begun to matter more than the things you say. Listen, Jesus, I don't like what I see. All I ask is that you listen to me. And remember, I've been your right-hand man all along.
We're seeing Judas's personal betrayal, and then we get the explanation for why he betrays Jesus, whereas in the Bible it's just sort of like, yeah, Judas was my buddy, and then he sold me out. That's what makes the story interesting.
Okay, but what about white girl-haired Jesus? I mean, I am
girl-haired
so
Jesus is
sick
always
of
white girl-haired Jesus.
girl-haired Jesus and
Well, we
Ben-Hur
weren't done with
and
that
the
in the
greatest
70s.
story ever told and all that shit. And Ted Neeley is the girliest white girl-haired Jesus you have ever seen. The man can sing.
They are waiting.
If you knew why I do it,
I don't care why you do it.
to think I admired you. Well, now I despise you.
Liar, you Judas.
You wanted me to do it. What if I just stayed here and ruined your ambition? Christ, you deserve it.
Hurry, you fool. Hurry and go. Save me your speeches. I don't want to know. Go! Go!
But
Sure.
him in his white robe and his thinning yellow hair sort of yelling
It's a
at
very
God all the time.
stereotypical Jesus, But Jesus is always the most boring character in any Jesus story. It's like Superman is always kind of the most boring character in a Superman story. You know what I mean? He's perfect. He's larger than life. He's kind of, you know.
I'm not quite sure I'm buying all that.
Well,
but
you know what I mean.
What else do you like about it?
The rest of the cast, Yvonne Elliman fucking kills it as Mary Magdalene.
Should I bring him down? Should I scream and shout? Should I speak of love? Let my feelings out. I never thought I'd come to this. What's it all about?
It doesn't bother you that there's only one woman in the entire movie? I mean, I remember my mother saw this at first run in 73 or whatever it was in Edmonton. She came home and I couldn't wait to hear what she said about it. You know, I remember my mother saying, well, they all seemed like they were homosexuals to me. You know, and there is that
That's what I kind of like about it too.
I don't think you can talk about the theatricality in Tommy and some of the
visuals,
dated
perhaps.
visuals he uses.
Yeah,
and
that's very
effects
70s
that
too.
No, but I don't think they hold up in Jesus Christ Superstar either. And he uses some of those cheap effects too. The beginning of Simon's a Lot song.
But there's a lot more in Tommy. We have a lot more trips.
Yeah, but you know what? We have a lot more conflict in Tommy too. We have a lot more people to look at.
But in Tommy, I don't get what he's offering. Like, what is he, as a Messiah, what is he offering? I know what Jesus is offering. Yeah, he saves our
Enlightenment.
sins, brings us
They're
back.
all
But what
offering
kind of enlightenment
Well,
is it?
the same
He
kind
just
of-
runs through a bunch of fields. He fucking
And
hang
Jesus
glides,
feeds some people
and they
and
all
pisses
just
off some
follow.
other people.
And then he just gives them all pinball machines. It's just really bizarre. But it does lose me after he busts out of that window. It kind of, we've been really following a really strong narrative
Right.
line up until that point. We're wondering, is he ever going to get over this trauma? And when he does, is he maybe going to ask about his father that was murdered in front of him? No, he never fucking does.
No, there are
It's so
lots
disappointing
There
in
are
that
lots
way.
of plot holes. Sonically, I think Jesus Christ Superstar is more interesting, but visually, and we're talking about film here, Ken Russell kicks that nice old Canadian guy,
Norman Jewison?
Norman Jewison's
Yes.
ass all over the block with his visuals. I mean, with the art design, with what's going on. I think, for me, Tommy wins.
For me, I'm still a Jesus Christ Superstar fan.
All right, well, we're not really Messiah people anyway,
Not
but why
really.
don't you watch both of them and decide for yourself?
And then join us next time on Old Movies for Young People.
We'll see you.
There must be over 50,000 screaming, loving more for you. And every one of 50,000 would do whatever you ask them to. Keep them yelling their devotion, but add a touch of hate at Rome. You will rise to a great